welcome back to another episode of Not Your Average Fangirl. I'm your host, Addison, and today we are talking about all things MCU and Marvel. But today's episode is a little bit different because I have a special friend joining me for part of the episode. You might have seen her if you're a Marvel fan, in the theaters on the big screen. She may or may not be a very special someone's daughter in Avengers Endgame. I think her name might be like Morgan or something. Yes. Morgan Stark, aka Lexi Rabe, who is a very good friend of mine, is going to be joining us for a little bit. And I asked you guys for some questions for her, and I came up with some of my own as well. And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun to have her on here. And then also, I'm just going to talk about some of my Marvel opinions, some questions you guys had for me, and just like a little bit of a story about like how I became a fan of Marvel. But before we get into today's episode, I want to do a little announcement. So you guys might have noticed that like the last, I think 2 episodes came out every other week rather than every week. For the sake of my mental health, moving forward, the podcast is only going to be coming out every other week. I think it'll make me a lot more motivated to do it because the podcast is such a like time commitment. It takes a lot of time for me to put together and put up, and I love doing it, but I don't want it to become a chore. I want it to be something that I enjoy. And I think if I do it every other week, I can have a lot more fun with it and make sure it's as high quality as possible for you guys. So just for right now, that's what's going to be happening. Previously on Not Your Average Fangirl. Okay, previously on, we're going to start with TV shows. So let me think. I have still been doing my Supernatural rewatch, and I have gotten back into watching Pretty Little Liars, actually. Me and my mom are watching it together because we're both trying to get through it. And honestly, the show started off so good. Like, I remember telling you guys, like, how much I loved it and how obsessed I was with it. Like, I literally couldn't turn off my TV. But I just feel like I'm on season 4 now, and it's just so repetitive. Like, I need something to change. And I know that the A plot line is basically the entire show, which is where I find, like, the issue with it. I feel like A should have been, like, 3 seasons tops, and then it should have switched to something new. But it is what it is. I'm still going to push through, and I'm going to finish it, and I'll keep you guys updated on my thoughts. Aside from that, actually, literally just last night, we're watching Pretty Little Liars. And for any of you guys that don't know, especially for Teen Wolf fans, the guy who plays Theo is named Cody Christian, and he actually plays Arya's little brother in Pretty Little Liars, which is one of the reasons I was most excited to watch it because I love Cody Christian so much. And we were talking about him being in Pretty Little Liars, and I was like, you know what? I never watched the new season of All American when it came out on Netflix, and I started watching that again, and I'm really liking it. I always really liked All American. I don't really talk about it that much, but I mostly only watched it because Cody was in it. But all in all, it's actually a really good show, and his character was kind of not the best in the beginning, but he's had so much growth, and now I love him, and so it's so much fun to watch. Anyway, so let's move on to movies. What movies have I watched? Have I watched anything? I don't feel like I have. So we're going to move on to music. And if you guys follow me on Instagram and TikTok, which you probably do, that's how you found this podcast. But I just saw Olivia Rodrigo in concert in New Orleans this last weekend. And that's actually when I saw Lexi and recorded this podcast. But because I was seeing Olivia Rodrigo, I have been listening to her music pretty much nonstop the week leading up to the concert and the entire drive there. That's pretty much all I listened to, which is amazing because her music is so good and the concert was so amazing. We were literally front row in the seats and we got to like touch her hand and stuff. It was so cool. Me and my friend had no idea that our seats were that close. Don't ask how. It's a long story, but it was just actually insane and I had so much fun. So if you have tickets to see her, trust me, you are going to love it. So that's definitely the main thing that I listen to. I'm trying to think of what I've listened to since I've been home. This morning I went on a walk and I listened to Harry. Books, I finished the first ACOTAR book, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I know that is just like such a love series, and I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna read the next book. I know that's everyone's favorites, and a lot of people say to push through the first book, and because I'm a Shatter Me fan, and I always tell people to push through the first Shatter Me book to get to the second one, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna read the second one. I'm sure it's gonna be a lot better. The first one was just kind of like, for me. It was very like, I guess mid would be like the word to call it. Like, I didn't not like it, but it was just kind of like meh. Like it's not that, yeah, I don't know. I'll update you guys once I read the second book because I think that I will enjoy that one so much more. Oh my gosh, I read Wait For It by Mariana Zapata. I think that's how you say her name. I don't know if you guys remember when I read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, but I talked about how much I loved that book. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was so good. The slow burn, the writing, like all of it was just phenomenal. I loved the characters, and Wait For It is like, I guess it's like kind of like they're in the same world because the character in Wait For It's best friend is the character from the first book. And it was definitely slower at first, but honestly, I feel like that's how I felt about Wall of Winnipeg in the beginning. But I finished that on the car ride home from New Orleans, and oh my god, it was so good. I don't know if it's as good as Wall of Winnipeg. I like the male character more than I like the male character in Wall of Winnipeg because Dallas is literally perfect. Like, he is absolute perfection. Like, I was kicking my feet and giggling the entire car ride. It was so good. Again, the slow burn, phenomenal. Chef's kiss. The writing, so good. For it being like a 400-page romance book, there was not a single second where I was bored or I felt like things were drawn out or unnecessary, which is hard to do. So props to her. And I will be reading every single book that she's ever written because it's that good. And lastly, I just started reading Carvel by Stephanie Garber because that's this month's book club book for my Instagram subscribers. And I'm on page 100, which is like where we're supposed to stop for week 1. But it's so good that I really don't want to. I'm gonna wait, but I'm definitely really liking it so far. I feel like I've always heard mixed reviews about it. And I know everyone else loves Once Upon a Broken Heart a lot more, but I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it's so interesting and the concept is really cool. So, same as always, I'll keep you updated. Okay, that is everything for the previously on. Let's get into the main part of today's episode. Okay, so I have some stuff I want to talk about myself and some questions that you guys had for me. But first, let's go back in time to New Orleans and meet up with Lexi and ask her some questions. All right, guys, so I'm back and now I'm joined with Lexi. Lexi, say hi.
Hello.
So I asked you guys on Instagram for some questions you might have for her, and I thought of some myself. So are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. A little backstory. We've known each other for like, you know how long we've known each other?
Too long. Something
too
like
long.
7 years.
No.
Yeah, because I knew you
No.
before COVID.
Was it before COVID?
Because
Oh.
I was barely out for that. So
I was like 13 when we met, and I'm 17
Yeah.
now, so like 4 years.
So yeah, like right out of COVID.
Okay, so basically, I've known Lexi since she was like half this height, and then okay, I haven't seen her in like a few months, and she walks into the room today, and she's standing next to me. I can't take the microphone that far. Wait, hold on. One second. And then I'll get up. No. Wait. I'm going to come join you in a second, but there just won't be audio. Okay. And she walks into the room today, and she's standing next to me, and she's like almost the same height as me. That's insane. Okay. We're going to give you an example.
Yeah. She's 17.
Oh, also, no. Also,
Payback.
funny story. When I met Lexi for the first time, it was at like a little skincare event, and she kept walking around, and I'm like, "Who is this girl? She looks really familiar." And I'm like, "She looks so familiar." And then one of my friends at the time comes up to me, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's my friend Lexi. She was in Avengers."
Who?
Unnamed person comes up to me, and they're like, "She was in Avengers and Godzilla." And I go and I look at my mom, and I'm like, "Avengers?" And so all of a sudden it clicks, and I'm like, "Oh my god, she's Morgan Stark." And I pull up a picture. I pull up a picture on my phone and I show it to my mom, and I'm like, dude, because we went to see it in theaters like when it came out. We've been huge Marvel fans forever, and so like when I realized, and then I made like TikToks with you, and when we left that day, I like totally in the car I was like, oh, I fangirled over you. Totally happened. And look at us now. She tries to eat my microphones.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
I used to fangirl over you, and now we're sitting here side by side doing this podcast episode.
Yeah, now I see you like a big sister.
That's so kind, even though I'm barely taller than you.
Fine, a little sister.
A small big sister.
Older than me, but littler sister.
Yeah, a small big sister.
Fun size.
Oh no, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of these, as you guys know, Lexi was very, very young when she was in Avengers. How young were you when that filmed?
I was 5.
So it's been a minute. So some of these answers have been clarified by her mom so that we can get all that good, juicy information.
It's not juicy.
It's not juicy? I think it's interesting.
Well,
most people haven't heard these stories before.
It's not juicy, though. It's just interesting.
Okay,
well, not juicy, as in, like, it's not physical.
Well, that's because it's not a real thing. It can't be juicy if it's not a real thing. It's hypothetical. It's hypothetical. In case you were wondering what Lexi is like, here you go. Like that. He literally... Okay, so most people have never auditioned for a movie before, so they don't know what that's like. So specifically for Avengers, what was that process like? Did you have to like go in person, or how did that work?
So Avengers, it was like things just got serious. Okay, so on Avengers, it was a self tape, but also after that, like for a fitting, there was a bunch of people apparently, and yeah, it was a chemistry read that we did.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, what is a chemistry read?
Basically, when two people have great chemistry together. Chemistry, it's like a spark between two people. Science.
For anyone who doesn't speak Lexi, basically what she just said is that a chemistry read is like seeing how well two people work together, like what they look like together on camera, how like all of that is going to work if they're going to get along, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Your phone wasn't on silent.
Yeah. Okay, so the thing people really want to know most about, I feel like, is what it was like being on set for Avengers. Do you have like a specific really like funny story or moment that just sticks out in your memory?
So, there was this fake cockroach on set along with this fake bee. Okay, so I went around scaring every single girl, holding it, going near them, and doing all that stuff.
That would scare me.
Yeah, they just went running and screaming. I was the best child on set. So professional.
Well, I would say that's a funny story. Definitely sticks out.
Oh yeah, I kept asking people like, "Would you hold my pet cockroach?" And they would be like,
I would have been like, absolutely not, and then ran away.
and then I would have put it on your head.
That's mean, Lexi. She looks like she has no regrets. Let's move on before Lexi tries to scare me with a cockroach. No, you can't eat it. It's not a marshmallow.
It looks like a giant marshmallow.
It's not a marshmallow.
Ha. Yeah, since I'm a singer, all like my coaches, my mom, everyone tells me to eat the microphones out.
So don't leave your microphones unattended near Lexi, basically. Moral of the story.
No, it's just your microphones though.
Thanks.
I don't know why the mini one looks so edible, and now this looks like a giant marshmallow.
I feel like this one looks more edible.
The mini one looked like it was like cake, a little baby cake.
You're watching too many of those like real or cake videos.
Oh my god.
Okay, so a lot of people want to know what it was like to film a Marvel movie, but since you don't really remember a lot of that, what was it like just kind of in general to be a part of the Marvel franchise and specifically like having to keep the secret of Morgan Stark?
Ooh, I had to keep it for 2 years actually.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have been able to keep it for 2 years. If anything, I probably would have just like accidentally slipped up and let it out at some point.
Yeah, for me, I was getting bullied at the time, and I wanted to tell them so bad, just so that they would feel secondhand embarrassment. So, yeah, whenever the movie came out, they wanted to be my friend. Oh wow, big surprise! I literally went up to their face. I'm like, no.
My dad's Iron Man.
My dad's
Back off.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your mom also just reminded us of a story that involves a grocery store. What happened there?
So, I was 5 at the time, and I didn't know who the Avengers were. I mean, I knew Spider-Man because my brother was obsessed, but we
You're walking through, you're walking through a grocery store.
Through the grocery store. Then we see as we were like walking out, we see a bunch of like Marvel figures. I'm like, Mom, the secret's out. They know.
You didn't know that the Avengers were already like a thing.
Yeah. Also, one time when I was at the like movie theater, we were going to see Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, and the tickets were for Morgan Stark. I'm like, shh, you're not supposed to say anything. And then also in the middle of the movie, they're like, oh yeah, I had a dream where we had a daughter, and we named her Morgan. I'm like, they know. They know. I'm like, I literally yelled out, isn't that me?
That's funny.
Like, wait, no, you weren't supposed to say anything. I'm like, shh.
Okay, moving on. Okay, and are there any like specific fan stories or like things that you remember?
So at Toys for Tots, I was there with you, I think, and there was this one Marine who was a big fan of me. So I walk up to him, I just whisper in his ear, I loved you 3000. He just melts. Can I eat this?
No, no,
3000. I love you 3000.
No, but like in all seriousness, how are you not supposed to melt when Morgan Stark says
I love you 3000. I want to see how many times this will work.
No, I'm cutting you off. That was your limit.
I love you
No.
3,000.
No. What if I tell you that you can eat this afterward?
Thank you. I love you 3,000.
No. Cut it out or I'm not buying you marshmallows.
But I thought you loved me 3,000.
Stop. Okay. No.
I'll lick your hand. I didn't actually touch you.
It was a phantom lick. Okay, next. No! You got your slobber on it. Can someone get us a napkin?
People have actually tried to eat it.
How many do you think?
At least 8.
Yeah, sure. Sure, it's definitely not just you at all. It's totally happened before.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Okay. On a more serious note, repeat what you said about the actress that impacted you most or that you look up to.
Okay, so my mom is, well, the beginner of all of the actors in our family. And everyone in my family acts, and she manages and runs all of them. And she's amazing and really cool. And yeah.
Boss babe?
She's not a babe. She's my mom. You're not allowed to be a babe.
You are a boss babe.
You can be a
You
babe.
can, yeah, she can be fabulous. Yeah.
No. You're not allowed to dance.
No boss babying around here.
No shaking that thing.
Just don't babe.
You can boss,
No
just
shaking
no,
that thing.
no baby. Ma'am. Ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so a lot of people wanted to know if you could play an Avenger, which one would you want to play?
Probably Iron Man.
Yeah. Okay.
I love how boring the start of this was and versus now.
Nothing's ever boring with you around. Okay, next. Talk to the hand. Okay, I'm adding a restriction to this question because I know what you're going to say. Other than Iron Man, who's your favorite Marvel character?
Groot.
That's a good answer. I love Groot. He's great. Do you speak Groot?
I am Groot.
I'm Groot.
I'm Groot.
I am Groot. I'm Groot.
I'm Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot.
I'm Groot.
I'm
Groot.
I'm Groot.
I'm Groot.
I'm Groot. I'm Groot.
No.
I'm Groot.
No.
I'm Groot.
No. The rest of this will be done in Groot.
I'm Groot.
I'm Groot.
I'm Groot.
I'm Groot. I'm Groot.
I'm Groot.
I'm Groot.
I am Groot. I am Groot.
I'm Groot.
I am Groot.
I'm Groot. Okay. So I personally think this is a very obvious question that we don't even need to ask, but a lot of people asked it anyway. So are you Team Cap or Team Iron Man?
I know which one you aren't.
That's true.
Cap. Right?
What team are you?
Iron Man, obviously.
Yeah, we're on different teams.
No, you're on Iron Man, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Yeah.
on Team Iron Man.
Come on.
Yeah.
Why are you looking to the side like that?
I'm not doing anything. I'm not shaking my head.
You weren't looking me straight in the eyes.
I don't know.
Money.
Must be funny
in a rich man's world.
Okay, so we had a lot of people ask as well what it was like working with RDJ. Do you have a story about him that you can share with us?
Okay, so me and my mom always went over to his house after filming, and at the entrance there's this like massive suit from the actual show, like an Iron Man suit, and whenever you walk in, there's like this machine where Robert Downey Jr. just walks in, pricks his finger, all the minerals he needs, just right there. It just gives him, it analyzes the blood, gives him what he needs.
Like his vitamins?
Yeah, he's exactly like his character, except for the entire storyline.
So he's like a real life Iron Man, basically?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So are there any new projects coming up that you've been working on that we can keep an eye out for?
So There's this new one coming out where I'm starring in it. It's a Western. I get to unalive people. It's really fun.
All right. All right. Well, I'll be keeping an eye out.
It's coming out this fall. So, go and see it. Make sure you keep an eye out for it.
Well, I'll be going to see it, and hopefully you guys are too. And
you better.
yeah, I should watch out. If I don't, Lexi's gonna come to my house and eat my microphones. So
Yeah.
well, that is
And probably all your chicken nuggets.
okay. Well, that's everything we've got for you guys. I hope you learned a lot about Lexi and
in here. Wait, I had something in here earlier.
she lost her money.
$3.
Well, we've got to go now because we have to go help Lexi find her money. So hope you enjoyed.
It just disappear. How does that even happen?
Say bye to the people.
Bye, people.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that little section with Lexi. Now let's get on to the rest of the episode. Okay, so one of the questions I got in my little Q&A box, and so when are you into Marvel? And I wanted to clarify this because I don't feel like I post about Marvel a whole lot other than when I'm like on my story when I'm going to like see a new Marvel movie when it comes out. But I'm going to use this question as a like prompt to talk about how I became a Marvel fan and how long I've been a Marvel fan because I'm an OG. And by that, I mean, I literally remember when I was like 6 years old going to see Marvel movies in the theaters. I feel like the first one I ever saw was one of the Iron Mans. It wasn't the first one because I don't think I was old enough to go see it then, but I feel like my first ever Marvel movie was definitely one of the Iron Mans, and my family has just always been a huge Marvel family. Like literally since that movie, every single time a new Marvel movie has come out, my family has gone to see it in theaters together. And I realized that for some reason that made this episode kind of hard for me to come up with my own answers because I've just like always, Marvel has always been a part of my life. I've always been a Marvel fan. And so for some reason, like I just never really like came up with like a whole bunch of opinions the way I do like when I come across a show and like quickly obsess over it and come up with all my opinions and stuff. It's kind of just like it's hard to explain, but I'm like looking at these questions and I'm like, some of these I don't have answers to just because like one, I feel like there's so many options. Like to the question like your favorite character, there's so many amazing characters in Marvel. And I'm not just talking about the main movie, I'm talking about all the shows, the Netflix originals. Like there are so many characters to choose from that like to narrow it down to even just like the top 3 that I love is so hard for me to do for some reason because I love so many of them. Like Marvel is so good at creating characters that I love. But basically, I just wanted to say, like, I have been a huge Marvel fan for so long. If you guys didn't know this, when I first got into social media, like, my main passion was doing makeup and makeup videos and fun, creative makeup looks, and I wanted to be a makeup artist. And I still really love doing makeup. I just don't really talk about it or do any crazy looks that often anymore. But that was my goal at the time. And right when Spider-Man No Way Home was coming out, Lexi got invited to go and walk the red carpet and her mom invited me to come do her makeup for the premiere of Spider-Man No Way Home. And so that was the second time I ever went to LA. I flew out there, I got to do Lexi's makeup, and she got a picture and saw Tom Holland and Zendaya and the rest of the No Way Home cast while wearing makeup that I put on her face. I still have not recovered. It's like so crazy to me that like that actually happened. Like that was like such like a surreal moment for me. Like it was a huge fangirl moment for sure. Like I remember like when I saw the picture of them together on the red carpet being like, you're joking. You're actually lying because I love Tom Holland. But a little bit of a plot twist, I guess. Not really, sort of, maybe. I don't know. Me and my mom drove Lexi's mom to the premiere because Lexi rode up in like an Iron Man car, which was also really, really cool. And we ended up parking because we were like, what if we like the carpet's right there. It was like pretty packed because a lot of people had been there since earlier in the day, but we decided to give it a shot anyway. And actually it worked out because we got there and at the very like behind all the rows of people that were looking at the carpet, there was like a barricade type thing. And I got up and I stood on it. And when I was standing on it, I could actually see the carpet. And it was so cool. I got to see Tom Holland. I got to see Zendaya get out of their car. I got to see Benedict Cumberbatch, so many of the other Marvel cast members. Rudy from Outer Banks was there, and of course I also got to see Lexi get out of her car and make her appearance, and like it was literally so cool. And I literally died because like I said, I love Tom Holland. And when he got out of that car, my jaw was on the floor. I was screaming. I was not okay. And all of the videos are actually still out on my TikTok. If you scroll down to like when No Way Home came out, I got videos of Tom Holland arriving and I got videos of him leaving, like all teary-eyed, and it was I can say this 100 times, but it was so, so cool. That's all I have for that. So let's move on to some of your guys' questions. So first one is Team Cap or Team Iron Man. Every time I rewatch Civil War, like I don't really go like into too depth thinking about it. I want to rewatch Civil War so I can figure out officially what team I'm on. But every time in the past that I have watched it, I've been Team Cap. And that might be controversial. I don't know. Now I want to go rewatch it like at this very second. I feel like I'm gonna stick with it though. Like I feel like even if I rewatch it, I'm still gonna be team captain. So I'm gonna stick with that. But if I rewatch Civil War from now to the next podcast episode, I'll let you guys know if my thoughts on it has changed at all because it has been like a year since I've watched it. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm still gonna be on the same side. But we'll move on for now. We'll move on. We'll put a pin on that. Okay, next we have favorite character. And like I said, this was so hard for me because when I think about each of the different like movies and stuff, there's so many different characters that come to mind that I'm like, oh my god, I love this character, I love this character, I love this character. Like there are just so many good ones. And someone also asked fave OG Avenger. And again, it's like I truly do not know. I definitely love Nat. I love Cap. Thor is a favorite in my household because my mom is obsessed with Thor. Like, I don't know. They're all amazing. Like, I don't know. It's just so hard for me to pick just one. And as far as the rest of the characters go, like, I don't know. Like, on top of that, I freaking love Rocket, dude. He's great. I love Matt Murdock. I love Peter Parker. I feel like my go-to favorite when people ask is Spider-Man just because I do love him so much. But it's like there's just so many good characters. I don't know. It's so hard for me, guys. Like I just like can't even answer. I'm sorry. Also, like little bonus question to that, someone asked like if I prefer Nat or Wanda, and I feel like Nat 100%. I don't like I just never really got the hype around Wanda. Like she's a good character. She's definitely like it's a strong female character, so I love that about her, but I just like was never particularly obsessed with her character, I guess, or anything like that. Like before she went viral on TikTok, like I never really thought twice about her. Like I was like, "Oh yeah, like I like her." But she never like sat in my mind. And like if you asked me about characters, she would never have come to my mind. That's not to say that I don't like her. Like I said, I do like her. Okay, next someone asked, who have I met from the cast and who would I want to meet? So I feel like the only person I've met, like really up close and personal is so I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think I've talked about this like a little bit on the podcast, but back when it was coming out live, like I would watch it with my brother and my dad. It was like a weekly thing. We would sit down, we would watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I've just always been a big fan of it. And at the convention in April, actually, Luke Mitchell was there and he plays Lincoln in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., who I love. And I got to meet him and I got to interview him. And I asked him, of course, questions all about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And he was totally cool with it. So it was fine. And he was so much fun. It was really great meeting him and he was really nice. So 10 out of 10 experience. But for who I'd want to meet, I was this is sad. I was actually supposed to meet Charlie Cox, who plays Matt Murdock or Daredevil, back in like I think it was July maybe, but he canceled for the con that he was supposed to be at. And I was so sad. But I know that he does, a lot of conventions or at least like a decent amount. So hopefully I'll get another chance to meet him. But he's definitely like near the top of my list. Obviously, like for the main people, probably Chris Evans. I love him. And obviously, like literally any of them. Again, like they're all cool. I would love to meet all of them. So, because that's such a vague answer, we're just going to move on. Someone asked if I've watched Daredevil, and I wanted to take, obviously, I have. I've been talking about how much I love Matt Murdock, how much I love Charlie Cox. I'm going to talk about No Way Home in a minute, so I'm just going to leave this at this. But when Matt Murdock showed up in No Way Home, I lost my crap, as you can imagine. But I just want to say I love Daredevil so much. If you're a Marvel fan and you haven't watched Daredevil, what are you doing? You need to go watch it right now. It's so good. It's just such a good show. And if you're going to watch Daredevil, you should also watch Punisher because Punisher is also really, really good. And it has Ben Barnes in it. And you guys know how much I love Ben Barnes. So that's all I have to say about that. Moving on. Someone asked favorite Spider-Man, and I think I probably answered this before on the podcast many times, but I'm gonna repeat myself again. I think that the best Spider-Man is definitely Tom Holland. I love all three of them so much. They're all amazing, and I love each of the Spider-Man for their own reasons. But I think that Andrew Garfield was too cool to be Spider-Man, and I think that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was a little bit too dorky. So Tom Holland is the perfect middle because he's just the right amount of cool and just the right amount of dorky that he just like pulls off the perfect Peter Parker. And that is what my answer has always been, and it will always stay the same because Tom Holland just does such a good job. And I love Tobey Maguire and his Spider-Man, and I love Andrew Garfield and his Spider-Man so much, but Tom Holland did it best. Okay, next. Are you guys ready for another vague answer? We've got favorite movie. Can you guys guess it? I don't have one. Shocking, I know. And I want to say that, like, in all seriousness, like, the movie that hits me the hardest and that, like, makes me feel the most emotions is definitely No Way Home. Like, it's so well made, it's so cool, like, bringing all of the Spider-Man together, like, the whole multiverse, like, having all 3 Spider-Man in one place, and, like, it's such a well-made movie. It's just, like, everything about it I love, and nothing will ever beat the feeling of watching No Way Home in theaters for the first time. But, like, I don't know if I can confidently say that because there's so many good Marvel movies. Like, I just like, same thing as characters, I just love them all too much, and I just don't know that I could give a definitive answer. Like, my comfort rewatch would probably be No Way Home. I also really love is it Winter Soldier? Yeah, I really love Winter Soldier. I really love Guardians of the Galaxy. I know there's so many others that, like, I can't even think of this exact moment because there's so many Marvel movies, but oh, Ragnarok. Hello. Ragnarok is so freaking good. Like, how can I pick between those movies? Like, Ragnarok, Winter Soldier, No Way Home. Like, probably like the top 3 that come to my mind, but they're like just they're all so good. And I can't think of anything else to say about that. So I'm sorry if this is a letdown for you. That is all I've got. So, without further ado, my non-answer answers to those questions are done. Let's move on. Okay, and that is everything I've got for you guys in today's episode of Not Your Average Fangirl. I hope you enjoyed. If you're not already, make sure to go follow me on socials. It's Addison.Brianne on Instagram and TikTok, Not Your Average Fangirl.pod on Instagram and TikTok. And Lexi's Instagram is Lexi_Rabe. So go check all of those out. And I will see you guys next time. And today's episode was so much fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. And I think that's everything I've got. So